Here's what it's gonna look like inside of there. I can see my fuses. There is going to be a cover plate that goes here, so you won't see any of this, but we have plenty of room for it to breathe. Pull this back. Unit fits in there. We'll have plenty of room. There's that ground point I was talking about right there. Right now I just have this clip here holding it in place. My thought is to put a screw here and a screw here, and that will hold it, keep it from rattling around. Use distribution. Power wire will come right into it. Using some self-tapping screws. They're not going to be there permanently. It's just so we can get an idea of where this needs to be. Now I can pull out the self-tapping screws and put some nutserts in place and make it a more removable, serviceable piece. But I can see everything is nice and tight. Using a uni-bit, drill the holes out bigger. Those are M5 nutserts, means I will get 2 M5 screws and screw it into place. Drill the holes for the screws a little bigger. And there we have it. Our amp rack is now bolted into place, and we know it fits, which is key. Always test these to make sure they fit. Bit me in the ass one time. With that done, the next step is what you guys get excited about, which is the wiring side of it. Trying to make that look good is going to be fantastically a pain in the butt. Power wire, a whole bunch of speaker wire going to the front of the car. We also need to get the radio piece apart so we can plug into that. Now, since you're asking, and I know you're asking, is because I mentioned load resistors at the beginning, and this could be weeks apart from one another. Does this need load resistors? Now, in any other situation, not using a Helix, not using a Moscone, not using the smart amplifiers that have load resistance built into them, yes, you're gonna need a 10 ohm load resistor for a Bronco. These are SB compatible amplifiers, meaning the load resistance built into them works fantastic with the Bronco, fixes the signal, makes everything look great. So no, with one of these 2 amplifiers, I don't have to worry about running any load resistors. It's built into the amplifier. Let's head over to the bench and let's start wiring these things up, and we can get a little closer to being done with this thing. I've pulled the amp rack apart and gotten this off so I could start here. I want to start with the speaker wires. For this, it is going to be tight, but we're going to be running 3 runs of speed wire. One of the runs is going to be the signal input that is going to go up to behind the radio. One of the runs is going to be the signal output, which is going to be for the 6-inch mid bass in the kick and the 4-inch in the rear. And then one of the runs is going to be for the tweeter and the 4-inch mid-range in the dash. The 4-inch mid-range in the dash is going to be 1 through 4. That's going to be a little bit shorter because we're grabbing those in the kick. The other outputs as well as the inputs are going to be the same length because they're going up behind the radio. One of the things I did while I had this apart, I scored some grooves in here on the table saw. And the reason for that is I need to be able to zip tie some of this stuff into place. And if the zip ties were on the bottom of this, it wouldn't sit flush on the amplifier. So basically I made a tunnel for the zip tie to go in, and then I put it back together. The idea here is to just kind of start piecing these things together. It'll all go into the car in one piece, but getting to the point when you stack amplifiers like this, it does make things kind of complicated. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is get the speed wire into the outputs, and to do that I'll be using ferrules on the ends of my wire. I've pre-cut the length of the speed wire, and I've put a piece of gray shrink wrap on it here and also at the end. I'm going to use the green and purple as the 4-inch and the white and gray as my tweeter. Purple and gray will be the passenger side. For right now, I'm going to start screwing these things in, but I'm not going to over tighten them. I'm just going to loosely put them in there so they don't move. For the 6-inch and the rear speakers, another bundle here. I've made them green and put it on both ends. When you're doing a ton of speakers like this, you really got to pay attention to positives and grounds. It's real easy to get things confused. With those all in place, I'm going to take a quick glance and make sure that I did get all the positives and negatives. It's positive on this side, negative on this side, all the way across the amplifier. Alright, everything looks good there. Tighten them up now. And with those tight, it's time to add in some zip ties. On the zip tie, I want my knuckle here to go towards the amplifier. Don't pull it all the way tight, just loosely get it into place for right now. And I'll continue that down throughout the amp rack. Finish with the zip ties along here. This area here is just going to come down to the bottom, so we'll finish adding zip ties to that once we get this back on top. The next piece of speed wire is going to be for our inputs, which are located here on the bottom of the amplifier. A through D are what we're looking for. That is going to be channels 1 through 4. Plugs into place. I've done the same thing where I've made some grooves in it so I can add some zip ties, get it loosely in place. The other thing I want to add while I have it like this is the USB for programming. Once the amplifier is installed, it's going to be very hard to get to this. Don't get too crazy. Just make sure it's zip tied in enough to where it will stay. It's going to loop out like this. These wires are going to go down. This wire is going to more than likely stay right where it's at, and we're going to grab it through the access panel we've built. Next, I need to get the RCA and remote turn on out, go down here to my sub amp. For that, I'll be using a 1.5 foot Stinger 4000 series RCA, and of course a short piece of remote turn on. This amplifier has that little connector for the remote turn on, tin to the end, and we'll plug it into here. Either one of the two will work. Screws face down, plugs into place. I'm not worried about the length at the moment. We'll cut it when we get to the bottom amp. The Stinger 4000 series RCAs have a little flag telling you which end goes towards the source unit. This case would be the DSP amplifier. It's going to feed out to my sub amp. This is for directionality. This is a directional cable. It has copper that is no, it doesn't have anything like that. The reason why it's like that is there is a drain wire that is connected at one end and not at the other, so that noise will feed back and not create an issue through the RCA. So for all you guys who are like, oh, I've never seen copper. Yeah, you're right, you haven't. It's not what it's for. That being said, plug it in, then remove the flag and zip tie it into place. Let's take a moment from the top amp and look at the bottom amp. We have to get part of this put together before we can screw the top on it, because we can't get to this area right here, which means I have to get the power and ground and stuff like that into place. I've already put together the power wire for this. It is going to do a little S-bend here so that my top amp can come over and go into this hole here. The screws for the T-spec are all Torx, which are really nice, and they screw in from the side. Drill a couple holes to add some zip ties in to lock this power wire into place. Ground is going to do something a little different. It's not going to come across the top here. It's actually going to go underneath and then pop up over here. The reason for that is there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to sit on top of it right here. The factory ground point is located right about here. Feed this wire through here, up into this, pull it through, add our screw to lock it into place. The last wire to go in here is our sub wire. That's what this hole here is for. Sub wire will come up through here, then go off and meet up with the plug in the back. The only wires that are left to go into this are the remote turn on and the RCA. The RCA will plug in the back over here, and the remote turn on will come down and attach into this. Once I put this on, I'll have to put the remote turn on, and then I can slide them all and screw them all into place. Jumping back over to the 8-channel, one of the things I had to change was the RCA needed to come this way because my input is over here. I had originally gone that way with it, so I did drill some new holes to add some RCAs there. Next up is the power and ground. Ground is going to come out of here and loop up to the factory ground point, just like the other amplifier. And the power is going to come out and go the opposite direction to meet up with the fuse distribution block. With those few zip ties in place, it's time to bring these two together, finish this. The first wire that I need to attach is that remote turn on wire. That done, let's set this into place here and add in my screws. One thing to remember when building an amp rack or something that needs to be mounted is to remember that more than likely you're going to be taking this thing apart a bunch of times. That's where adding things like thermal nutserts or taps or just designing it so that it can come apart a bunch of times. That's really important. We've taken this thing apart over the course of these couple days, I want to say like 20 times, and it just keeps going back together every time, exactly the way it was. The RCA gets plugged in here on the bottom. We'll add in some zip ties. That end is taken care of. Here's what we have to do still. The power wire needs to come around and attach into this here, like so, and be tightened into place. I like to put the cover on it so I don't lose it. The next thing we have is this signal wire here needs to be put into place, and then these signal wires here need to be put into place. These will come down and they're gonna do something like this. Power wire will come into the main here, so I'll pre-drill some holes and put some zip ties in it for that. I need to attach this down so it's just not floating around. These guys here are gonna go in the car. They'll sit basically just like this. So we're super close. We just have a bunch of holes we need to drill, really. These final tie downs put into place. This amp rack is ready to go into the car. I have the tie downs all set and ready for my main power wire that's gonna come into this, which I will have to do first because my screw is located here on the bottom. So I need to get that in before I put this all up into place. The plug for the subwoofer will be down here and come out of this area here. My USB is all set and ready to go. My 2 grounds will be up here at the top. And then really I just have these 3 wires to run forward. The bass knob will plug in to the amplifier. It's already in the car and waiting, which is where I need to get this. Let's hop into the car, get this thing screwed into place.